Good afternoon. I went with the old intro today because that's kind of how I feel. Just absolutely worn down. And I know I've been processing tons and tons of information, trying to figure out the truth with a lot of different things going on in the world. And that can weigh on a person. But there's just, it's all kinds of things. Doing this line of work, if you want to call it that, is not easy. And I'm not talking about the production end of it or anything like that. I mean, I'm crap with that anyway. I'm not talking about the production end of it or anything other than just going over the news. That is enough to just absolutely mind screw you. And today is no exception to that. Today is another one of those days, yet children were in the news in a bad manner. I don't know how to word it. I just... where did we go from here? I mean, I get how we got here, and I get how we get ourselves out of here, but where do we go from here? Because you see, I don't see anything getting better until people actually take action. Until people actually take action and do something. I don't see it getting any better. I don't see running to your Congress member every single time that you think something should be changed and saying, oh, you need to change this, blah, 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 blah. Take a look at Oklahoma right now. Oklahoma has just passed in the elections, the recent elections, 788, which was essentially medical marijuana. And if you've been paying any attention at all to the news down in Oklahoma and all of that situation, it is insane. Here you have we the people, right? They wanted medical marijuana legal in the state of Oklahoma. After it had gone through, their state, legislature a few different times and failed, they pushed, and I don't know the entire procedure, but they did everything they needed to do, which from my understanding was no easy task, to get it put on the ballot. So it was actually on the ballot, right? So the people could vote. Instead of these sleazeball scumbags that are supposed to be representing us, the people actually voted. Which I think it should be on pretty much everything. But it's not. That's what it is. I can't change that. Back to my point. So they did everything they had to do. They followed all the laws and procedures and jumped through all the little hoops and played with the red tape. And they got it put on the ballot. 788. Initiative 788, if I'm calling it the right thing. And lo and behold, Election day comes, and come to find out, the 788 initiative, and I'm calling it an initiative. I don't know what else to call it. I'm calling it an initiative. I'll make up my own word for it. It's my rules, right? I'm just kidding. So anyway, you would think that it would have been on the ballot with everything else, right? Because, hey, that's the way it works. Nope. 788 had its own ballot. Its own ballot. Its own piece of paper. So if you didn't get it handed to you when you went to go vote, and you didn't specifically ask for it, you probably wouldn't even have known that it was getting voted on. So that's one major snafu, and there was all kinds of other little things when it came to the vote that just didn't seem quite right either. However, we the people prevailed. We the people prevailed. And the Oklahomans had voted in favor of medical marijuana. Pretty awesome, right? That's how this government is supposed to work. We the people are supposed to be able to control, right, the laws that govern us. We are in charge of those laws that govern us. Those are ours. Those aren't the government's. Those are ours. And see, that's what we have to understand. And that's a large part of fixing the problem, is understanding what is going on. Not understanding, comprehending. I don't like to use the word understand too much, because I also know the Black's Law Dictionary use for that word. I'm not a big fan of the word understanding or understand. But anyway, nonetheless, it won the vote. Then, all of a sudden, their legislature, and courts are playing all these games, right? So that, okay, it's more or less like this. Okay, well, you wanted medical marijuana legal, so here, it's legal, but, you've got this and this and this and this. In fact, I think it was talked about that they weren't going to allow any type of a consumable of any kind. And in other words, you couldn't smoke it, you couldn't eat it in a brownie, you couldn't, They were basically trying to take every benefit that passing 788 brought on. They were trying to take it all away. That is not how our government is supposed to work, folks. When we push something forward like those awesome people in Oklahoma did, and they're absolutely awesome people, to go through all that grueling process and deal with everything that they've got to deal with, involving it, not to even mention the countless arguments I'm sure many of them had, trying to wake brain dead folks up and explain to them that, hey, look, it's not the devil's lettuce, folks, it's just pot, calm down. It wasn't an easy feat, but they did it, and I congratulate them for doing it. I am proud of them for doing it, and I am disgusted and feel shameful for the government of Oklahoma for playing the games that they are playing. Knock it off. And I just brought that up. It wasn't that I wanted to make that a point of a rant or anything like that. That's not, the particular case in Oklahoma is not the point of this rant. The point of this rant is that it's going to take we the people. That is what it's going to take. Oklahoma knew that. So they did what they had to do. The people spoke. Right? Same with Trump getting in office. The people spoke. Whether you like them, hate them, feel indifferent to them, the people spoke. Right? They'd had enough. Same with Oklahoma. The people had enough of all the pill-pushing doctors and big pharma. They wanted real solution. They wanted, I don't want to say cure, but, something that would really help them, at least ease them to be able to get through. And you've got government right there trying to get in the mix, controlling every single little aspect of every bit of it. And I'll warn them, by the way, up ahead of time. And they probably already know this, and it's probably already even written down in the laws and stuff that they've been working on. But just like Illinois and every single other state out there that's legalized medical marijuana, I want you to understand that the moment that you receive that card, that by our government standards, now notice how I worded that because it's extremely important, by our government standards, okay, you have lost your Second Amendment right. You have lost your right to bear arms, your right to defend yourself, all because you want a medication that actually helps you instead of hurts you. Okay? This is our government, folks. This is our government. This is how they work. They're the lowest, sleaziest pieces of shit that have ever walked this planet. And I know that there are some good ones out there. And my hat's off to the good ones out there. And thank you for serving your country, your community. Thank you for serving them the way that they should be. Unfortunately, that's not the majority. In fact, it's pretty far from it. You get a handful of decent government representatives. And I believe that there are a ton of people that go into public service with the intention of having the best things in mind for the people. But see, it doesn't take long once you get involved with that cesspool before the shit starts clinging to you too. And that's exactly what's going on. So even when we get good people in office, they can't remain good because either A, they will no longer be in office, or B, they will be ran into the ground so bad that their life is impossible. If not accused of all kinds of stuff, or, of course, you've always got the Arkansas-sided option, right? So that is what a lot of what wears me down when I look across this world, actually, not just this country, not just my own local community, not just my home, but the world. When I look across the world and I look at all of this stuff going on, it really wears me down. And sometimes, I mean, I do. I have my moments to where I got nothing. I don't like those moments. I don't like those moments. I don't like when I lose that drive. I don't like that. Because, see, that's what I operate on, is that drive. Okay? I don't operate on the idea of success. I don't operate on the idea of making a ton of money. I don't operate on the idea of fame or popularity or being well known in any way. I don't want any of that. A little bit more money would be nice, but, I don't want any of the fame, the popularity. I'm not doing this to be out there to hear myself talk. I don't like doing this. This isn't me. I mean, it is, but at the same time, I'm not a public speaker, folks. I'm the guy that wants to sit in the corner and bust my ass, right, to make sure everything's working smoothly. But I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be the guy in the spotlight. It's not me. But nevertheless, I'm here. And for 5 years now, I've been pushing forward. I need to see when our first show was. For 5 years now, I've been pushing forward. I think it's 5. I'll have to look that up. I could be wrong. Huh? Almost 4? Oh, where was I getting 5 at? Okay, my apologies. So, for something, my head was, it was in my head somehow. I only did it for a little bit before me and you actually physically met. So, in fact, I think I may have only done it for like maybe a month before we first started talking. But anyway, nonetheless. It's kind of one of those things. It reminds me of when people talk about bearing the cross. And I guess that's one of many, many, many reasons I do what I do. Because I want to bear my cross, right? I made enough messes in my life. I made enough mistakes of, it's time I bear my cross. And that's part of it, but that's only a tiny part of it. It's just one of those, I don't know. But where do we go from here? Right? It's gotten to the point to where it's gotten so stupid that it seems, and I'm by the way, I'm not promoting this. I'm not saying this is the answer. I'm just telling you my frustration. It's gotten to the point to where it almost seems like it's easier just to grab one of these little whiny weasels and pop them upside the head and tell them to shut the fuck up. Because I am so tired of hearing your bullshit. And I'm not talking about you guys, by the way. I'm so tired of hearing about this Russia collusion. I'm so tired of hearing, and I'm not, it's not that I'm anti-democrat, anti-liberal, no. It's not that. But you dumb son of a bitches don't know when to shut up. And that is a large part, I think, of what's wearing on me here lately. A large part of it. You know, I'm one that promotes and encourages thinking outside of the box as much as possible, because I think great things are found in that. Some of the greatest things are found in that. However, it's one thing to think outside of a box, and it's another thing to try to force a square peg in a round hole. Two different things. Two different things. One of them is more or less like starting off on a new endeavor, reinventing the wheel, if you will. And the other one, honestly, is nothing. Doing the same old. Same. You know, I'm all for reinventing that wheel. You want to fit that square peg in that round hole? Okay, well, don't use it. Everybody uses the hammer. Everybody gets the hammer. Everybody gets... Screw that. Get the C4. If you're going to do it, let's do it. Right? That's kind of my point with that. You know, I don't know if I'm really getting out what is in my mind. Trying to continually to force a square peg into a round hole is wrong. Especially when that round hole is tired of getting screwed by a square peg. Okay? But if you want to think outside of the box, you know, I don't know, maybe have the square peg take the round hole to dinner in a nice movie, maybe be a little more receptive, I don't know. But at least that's thinking outside of the box, not using the same hammer nail technique that has been used and failed forever. So I think a lot of that is kind of what's had me worn down. You know, a lot of that, and just, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot. And I'm speaking about me, and I normally don't do a lot of that. I don't like to do a lot of that. But sometimes I have to release too. And I've had more of those moments, I think, in this past year, I think, in a long time. And I think it's a good thing, because it's me standing back up. See, I'm one of those people that, you know, you may think, you know, you may have known me your whole life. But I'm one of those people that you could know your entire life and never know. I live that much of a private life. Not because I'm doing anything wrong or I'm doing anything I'm ashamed of or anything like that. I just fuck off. I'm a private person. Just the way I am. It was the way I was raised. So, and I appreciate being raised that way now that I'm an adult. When I was a teenager, I hated it. But, you know, I think it's me standing back up. And I'm one of those people, and I warn others. You know, don't ever think you got one over on me. And I don't just say that just because it sounds good. And it might prevent people from trying to screw me over or something like that. I don't know. That's... Yeah. I'm one of those people that would sit back with a smile on my face for years. And at the least moment, when you're least expecting it, when you're least needing it, I pop up and say, hey, remember me, motherfucker? And pardon the language, but I'm just being real with you guys. I told you a long time ago I wasn't going to cherry coat anything. I wasn't going to sugarcoat anything. You know, and I've also told you I'm going to start taking the gloves off. And that's what I've done. I'm a man of my word. I do my very best to be a man of my word. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm letting out a little bit more of what I think I'm supposed to be letting out. But, still goes back to that question. Where do we go from here? I know I'm jumping all around in this rant. I know I'm a million different places, but so is my mind. And maybe you can understand a little bit of why I'm wore out. Because my mind is not just all these different places every day. My mind is all these different places every damn minute of every day. That's one of my curses. So it wears on you. But I don't want anybody to think that I don't have any hope, that I don't see any light, because it's not true. In fact, I probably see more light. I probably see more hope today on things getting fixed than what I think maybe I ever have. And I'm talking about multiple levels here when I say that. I'm not just talking about with our government, with the world. I'm also talking about even with my own personal life. You know, many of you know that it's been a long while since I've seen my children. It's been a long while. And it's not getting easier, it's getting harder. And the reason why for many years I didn't even hardly ever mention it is because I couldn't bear the pain. Jen can tell you that I kept my wallet put away. Not in my back pocket, in my dresser or somewhere, but I kept my wallet put away. I would not keep it on my person. And the reason why is because if I grabbed my wallet and I opened it up, the first thing I would see would be a picture of my son. Well, one of them. And that's too much for me. Or it was too much for me. I can look at it now. It's not easy. And it might be easier to look at his pictures now, or their pictures now. That part of it might be a little bit easier. But the missing them isn't. And every day that goes by, I think about it, and I think about, I would love to just have a simple conversation. Without, by the way, without their mother over their shoulder. Just a simple conversation with them. And it doesn't have to be about anything important. I used to have the greatest conversations with my kids. And I miss that. But I see hope because I do see things starting to turn. I do see that. But why is it turning? Because we, the people, are getting fed up. And we're making it change. The only reason there's any difference. But I still ask the question, where do we go from here? Because we've got this big gap in front of us where things have been so screwed up for so long that making any kind of a move whatsoever is just going to evacuate that space into a big void. One that I'm not quite sure the majority can handle right now. So where do we go from here? That's a good question. All right, let's another one of those days I did the rant before the other stuff, which is fine. It's I need to flow with it and just let it go. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's what I was told to do in the beginning, and it's what I really need to be doing. Okay, so let's go through the fun stuff. We lost another subscriber. We're constantly getting them in and losing them, but we're actually below 3,900 subscribers now. Okay, I'm better. $1.28. That's what YouTube thinks we're worth, and I think YouTube overrates us. Anyway, moving on. Steemit. No changes here. Still 9.028 Steam, 4.069 Steam dollars. Oh, actually, there's a little bit I can redeem real quick. That wasn't there earlier. Redeem. Okay, so now the new total is 9.032 Steam and 4.071 Steam dollars. So That would be the New Balance, and that will be good in 2 days. It says 813, but it breaks it down, and I don't understand how it does it all or any of that, but it is what it is. I'm trying to build up enough. As I mentioned yesterday, I've got to replace my e-cig, so that's what I'm kind of trying to build up in here real quick. So it is what it is. That's going to take a bit because it's going to cost about $45 to replace it. So anyway, AdSense. We made, let me refresh. At this point, it was $2.30, but I'll refresh. $2.30, which is pretty incredible. That's awesome, and it's highly appreciated. That makes up for $18.17 this month on Google AdSense. If you don't know what that is, on our website, we've got ads, essentially. And you don't have to buy nothing, sign nothing up, fill out your, put in your email address. You don't got to send in a stool sample, nothing like that. You just click on the ad, and it goes a little bit our way for the ad click. So that's what that's all about. I do go over that from time to time so folks know, because that helps. With Google AdSense, you have to build up $100 in your balance before you can cash out. And for a little YouTube channel like ours that makes $1.28 a month, as you can tell, that takes a little bit of time. So yes, the super chats also go into here. Super chats, Google AdSense, monetization from the videos, all go into this one place here. So if you didn't know. Okay, now for the news, and a sip of coffee first. Oh, man, I'm telling you, even covered this Trump-Russia stuff is enough to just wear somebody out. Oh my God. Frickin' liberals. I'm not saying, by the way, Aaron, anything about C4 and blowing up liberals, but I'm just saying, if you got C4 laying around and nothing to do with it, you gotta, waste not, want not. All right, on to the news. I don't want to use word adversary. Trump on Russia, on U.S.-Russia relations prospects. I can't even speak. I swear I almost said fellatio. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to that. I don't want to use the word adversary. Now, that's what Trump is saying, okay? That's going to play a part later on in the news, so remember that. Theresa May threatens UK rebel legislators with general election. I am so glad to see this Theresa May. I could be wrong. I haven't dug into it. I haven't really looked into it. But she seems to be doing a pretty damn good job over there. I could be wrong. I have no idea. Could be wrong. But it seems to me like she's wanting to stick with the program, to stick with what people voted for. And, hey, she's got my support when it comes to that. Russian envoy on Butina's arrest, U.S. intel hunting for Russians abroad. Threat to the world, Hungary to quit UN migration accord before it is approved. EU slaps Google with record $5 billion fine for antitrust violations. Okay? Now, folks, this is what you have to understand with this, and I know a lot of people know this already. But these companies are taking in trillions of dollars, okay? They're screwing people out of trillions of dollars. So when they get a $5 billion fine, that's like you putting a quarter in a parking meter, okay? So we need to remember this stuff. But antitrust violations, imagine that. Imagine that. It's insane. But, you got to watch, too. And I haven't read this story. In fact, I've seen something that I didn't even pay attention to earlier. But apparently it's for abusing the dominance of its Android mobile operating system. I wonder who's behind that lawsuit. Crapple. Crapple. Let's see. Brexit continues to mean Brexit as UK PM May stays adamant amid MP grilling. Thai children rescued from flooded cave hold press conference. That was this morning. A boat with 160 migrants sinks off coast of northern Cyprus. 16 reported dead. Moscow vows to respond to expulsion of Russian diplomats from Greece. U.S. launches national security probe into uranium ore and imports. Or, as I like to say, U.S. launches national security probe into the uranium whore. That works too, right? So that's what I think this is about, if I'm not mistaken. This is about the uranium whore. I mean uranium one, right? Uranium whore, uranium one, same thing, right? So I'm thinking that's what this is about. And if that is true, holy cow. It just confirms everything I've been saying all this time. Let's see. U.S. Justice Department claims Butina was in contact with Russian intel officers. Houthis claim drone attack on Saudi Aramco refinery in Riyadh. Trump says, now this is part number 2 to what I was saying. The first one I told you to pay attention to. This is part number 2, right? Which backs up part number 1. Trump says, no, Russia isn't targeting us. And from my understanding, he kind of shook his head when he said, kind of like, come on, stop. Now, I pointed those out for a reason. Give me a moment. American University in Washington on lockdown after armed intruder. U.S. draft law to sanction Russian energy projects introduced in Senate. White House, here you go. White House says the threat from Russia still exists. So I'm telling you, it's really starting to, the puzzle pieces are really starting to fit into place along the lines that I'd been saying for quite a while. And I had been saying, I've given several different markers to look out for. And would be a true indicator of really where Trump stood, to be honest. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to do. And all politicians talk. It's what they do, right? But to see them actually put their words into meaningful actions is a totally different story. And I think I'm seeing Trump put his words into meaningful action. So that's awesome. And no, I'm not a Trumpster. I'm not a Trumpeteer. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not an idiot. Okay? But I will look at what's going on, and I will report on it honestly and truthfully and without, all the little, oh, well, that offended me. Right? I'm just going to tell you how it is. And either the guy's going to do a decent job or he's going to be a piece of crap. And I'm sure that some days I'll think he's doing a decent job and other days I'll think he's a piece of crap. Right? But so far, this has been the best damn piece of crap for a president that I've seen in a long damn time. So I have to give him props for that. I still don't like the guy. I don't like his personality. I think he's pompous. I hate pompous people. I think he's pompous. I think he's what's that word? Smug. I think he's right. He uses ties to wipe my ass with. What I would do. I don't have a lot of respect for the guy. I don't. But you know what? You're not going to see me out there like some flaming idiot running around going, no, my president. Because I am not that disconnected from reality. Okay? And he seems to be doing a good job. If these liberals would pull their heads out of their assholes, maybe they could see that. Maybe that's what it is that's wearing on me, because I go there and I start thinking anything related to Trump, and all of a sudden I just, maybe that's my problem. And it's not that Trump is sickening me. Trump's not sickening me. The liberals are sickening me. God, it's horrible. And this is probably what really kind of put me in a spot. Missouri mom charged after allegedly letting men rape her 2-year-old daughter. And it's worse. I guess I'll read it. I want to, but I probably need to. A Missouri woman now faces child abuse charges after allegedly letting men rape her 2-year-old daughter. Azzie Watson, 25, has been charged with 3 counts of child abuse and 1 count of endangerment in Jackson County. On June 29, Kansas City police were called into a metro hospital in regard to a reported rape. Officers were given a recording that Independence Police had obtained and, according to court documents, was made by Watton's boyfriend. In the recording, Watson admits to watching 2 men rape her daughter and taking the little girl back to the location of the crime approximately 10 times, court documents say in the recording. She admits that her daughter was raped about 5 times. On June 29th, Watson was arrested for failure to appear in court, and her 2 children were taken into protective custody. On July 10th, detectives interviewed Watson at the Wyandotte County Jail, where she told them what she said in the recording was a lie because she was scared of her boyfriend, court documents say. See, we've got to stop this shit. Detectives told Watson her daughter tested positive for a sexually transmitted disease and also for meth in her system. Medical records also said there were foreign metallic objects found in both children's feet. Watson admitted to using meth the day she was arrested, but said she did not know how the disease was possible. You don't know how the disease is possible? You're letting guys rape your 2-year-old daughter and you don't have any clue of how she could have got a STD? Really? I'm curious about the foreign metallic objects found in the feet. Apparently there's reason, for that to show up in an article, in a rather short article. I don't know what that indicates or anything else. I just found that intriguing, bothering, I guess would be a better word. But we've got to stop this whole, oh, I'm scared. We've got to stop. People's lives are being destroyed because of your bullshit, lying ass fear. I am so sick of it. I am so sick of this victim society. It's unbelievable. Right? She's worried about her boyfriend. Right. Well, I wonder, when she snorts all of his meth or smokes it or whatever she does with it. Next thing you know, I'll be talking about injecting the marijuanas. There's only one way to fix this. Right? Somebody in the comments of Fox 2, when this was posted on Facebook, somebody in the comments had one of the higher comments to me, to be honest, one of the highest comments was, in the rankings of how many likes, yada, yada, was to tie her to the back of a truck. And I'm all for that. We need to do something, folks. But number one, we need to get these courts the fuck out of our lives. Where's the dad? Where's the dad? Sure, the dad could be a total piece of crap, right? He could have flaked out on the child and the mother and just been a total piece of crap. There's plenty of those. Or this scared of everything piece of shit pushed him away and used laws and courts as tools and weapons to be able to do so. And of course, this is speculation, but I've seen this so many times. over and over and over. And you can't bullshit me into thinking that the courts don't know about it. You can't. You can't. My ex-piece of shit wife had 6 orders of protection on me. I'm not saying that like I'm proud of it. But you would have thought that 1 out of 6 times, maybe somebody would have said, hey, what the hell is going on here? You know, one of those times, the second or third time I think it was, she even sent a letter to the court saying that it wasn't true. Admitting how she makes stuff up. So my question is, why the hell were there any following that? Right? And then the last one, you know, the one that's caused me not to see my kids in all that time? Yeah. I even told the court about that letter. And they wouldn't look it up. They wouldn't. I'll bet your sweet ass they'll look up me. Up one side, down the other. Find every little thing they can. But they wouldn't even look for a letter that she wrote to court that was entered into court evidence, admitting to being a liar and to making it up. And by the way, it was almost carbon copies every time, the claims. Okay, so you would have thought that after she admitted that it, you know, was all made up, you would think that, you know, after that they would catch on. No. No, because that's not the intent of what they're doing. Their intent is to push the father out of the family. Why? Because that's when you come up with this. They don't want us doing well. Give me a break. They want us kicking and screaming and clawing each other's eyes out. Well, they can live at least somewhat lavish lifestyles, have good health care coverage, good pension, while we're out here clawing each other's eyes out. So where do we go from here? We take our country back.